Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Trail Talk. I'm Edie.
And I'm Mary.
And we've got a great episode planned for you guys today. Inspired by last week's guest, LaQuincy Reed.
Yes.
He was talking about these sculptors who are Oklahomans, and I just had not even thought about that. And so I decided to pursue it. We're only going to talk about 4 today. So I have a feeling we'll be maybe have a part 2 at least.
You know
to
us.
this.
We have a lot of part 2s.
Yeah.
Because we just can't get it all in one show.
Exactly. So welcome to Oklahoma Artists, Sculptors. I didn't say like episode 1, volume 1 or anything like that, but
It's just open-ended.
it is. We don't like to restrict ourselves, you know.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure. But one cool thing, 3 of the 4 of these artists, our Garris Gallery is home to at least one of their works, which is, I think, super cool.
Yeah,
I'm
we have
so
them here.
excited. Yeah, that's right. We got them here. Yeah, no. Whatever. We get to see them every day. So, okay, let's dive in here. So the first sculptor is a man named Black Bear Boson. He was actually born in Surreal, which is my hometown.
That's right.
I don't know that Surreal was really much of a township yet
Back
in
in
those days.
1921?
In 1921, I guess maybe it was in 1921. June 5th, 1921. So he was self-taught Kiowa Comanche artist, and has some really, if you want to Google his name, his paintings are extraordinary. They have a really unique, I don't know what you would want to call style, I guess. But they're really great. And honestly, he's included in this sculptor episode, but he only has one sculpture. But he's a great Oklahoma artist, and he's a sculptor. I mean, he has this sculpture. So
all you need is one.
That's right. But his works were exhibited in museums across the country, including the National Gallery and Smithsonian Institution, which is, I got to go to the National Gallery last August or September, whenever it was that we went up there. And I didn't even think to look for his works because they have the likes of Van Gogh and Rembrandt and
world
Warhol. I
names.
mean, like these much more current, European artists or American artists. And I had not considered looking for some at the Native American. Honestly, the place is huge, and we didn't get there in time to see all of it. But when I go back, I want to try to find some Black Bear Boson. And they have that museum of the Native Americans there now too. And so there might be some pieces in there. Yeah, I'm kind of on this new kick of looking at this sort of thing. Anyway, he was in 1965, the only Native American invited to the White House Festival of the Arts, which is so cool. And then his one sculpture, which is called Keeper of the Plains, is in Wichita, Kansas, where the Big and Little Arkansas rivers kind of connect with each other. And it's considered a sacred place for Native Americans. But so he started here in Oklahoma. He moved to Wichita, Kansas, and basically lived out
His time
the remainder of his life there. He was an exhibitor in Honolulu, the Philbrook in Tulsa. Yeah. He received numerous merits of citation, awards. He had, in 1950, there was a showing of 66 of his paintings at the National Museum of Natural History, also in Washington, D.C. I guess one of his most famous is called Prairie Fire. And it was included in National Geographic magazine. He was a fellow at an arts institute in Switzerland certificate appreciation from the U.S. Department of the Interior, Indian Arts and Crafts Board, an exhibitor of the American Discovers Indian Art Show at the Smithsonian. I mean, when you think about Native American art,
Mhm.
Black Bear Boson is one of those names that really comes to mind. And I mean, what a great experience for him to be recognized so much in Washington, DC.
Right, it's not just local.
Yeah, I think that is amazing that people saw the true Native American spirit in
work.
his works. Yeah, and just how meaningful that had to be. So here is the statue, the Keeper of the Plains, and you can see this thing is
That is ginormous.
enormous. Yes, it is really, really
Here's the
huge.
fence.
Yeah. And so it is a really big, and I've driven through Wichita a number of times, and I
wonder where
just
it
didn't
is.
realize where that was. I don't know, but if I go through there again, then I'm definitely going to drive around and try to find this. I mean, it's near the river,
Yeah.
but it might not be on I-35, which is typically what I have
Take when you
taken.
go through there,
Yeah,
right.
taken through there. Anyway, Black Bear Boson, a name synonymous with Native American art, but
Mhm.
a sculptor in his own right. I don't even know how you make a sculpture this big.
Is it, I mean, it's
I-
metal? Is it
yeah.
like sheet? It kind of looks
Yeah,
like sheet
it
metal or
does look like
something.
sheet metal. I mean, the process to create this had to have been fascinating to watch or
Yeah.
to be a part of that.
I mean, where would you store something?
Yeah, I know.
It's huge.
And putting the pieces together, you know, it took a giant crane
Oh, yeah.
and welders and all sorts of things. So anyway, I think this is a masterpiece worth seeing
Mhm.
at some point.
Right.
So anyway, Black Bear Boson, you guys remember it's up on a rock. Does it
Huh.
say the
Well,
dimensions?
that's what I was looking for.
Tina's looking up the
And I'm not
dimensions
gonna forget.
for the, yeah, we're gonna hold her to this, but I mean, it's very, the style of this, the way he personifies
Mhm.
the Native American, that is typical to his paintings as well. That's kind of his
Way it comes
way of
through.
doing
It's
it.
44 foot.
Okay, so it's 44 feet tall. So it's about the size of a 4-story building.
Right.
So,
yeah,
yeah, that is a massive structure.
Mhm.
I've got to find that. Maybe I drove past it and overlooked it. And if I did, I'm really sad that I did.
Could have that.
I don't know either. But anyway, it's pretty impressive. So, Black Bear Boson from my hometown,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna
There
claim
you
that
go.
right there. Okay. The next artist, a man named Alan Hauser. Alan Hauser's work is, I mean, he is prolific as far as his bronzes
Mhm.
go. I can remember right after I started working here, which was like, I get up,
I think it
7
was
years
5
ago.
or 6.
I think it's about 7 years ago. We went to the University of Oklahoma. One of our kids was attending there at that
Mhm.
time. And they were having an Alan Hauser show
Exhibit.
at the Ford Arts
Mhm.
Museum that's
Right,
there on
yeah.
their grounds, which is an amazing art gallery. But so we had gone in there and walked around and looked at them. And then I came here and realized that we had an Alan Hauser in the Garris Gallery, and my mind was blown. I think that was when it really hit me,
Mhm.
the quality, the important pieces of
Mhm.
art that are housed
That I
in
have here.
the Garris Gallery. Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, we are so fortunate to have pieces from, I mean, so many renowned artists. Anyway, so Alan Hauser, this is a picture of him working on probably the first step of creating
Mhm.
his piece, because like we learned last week, you have to make this, and you put the plaster, you put, there's the wax,
Right.
the,
There's
you know,
several
all these
steps.
processes, and, so this could possibly be like his first, the first part that he
Mhm.
made. But historically about Allen Hauser, and so he was born in 1914, so he was just 2 years after Black Bear Bosun, in Apache, Oklahoma, which happens to be 9 miles west of Cyril. I mean, very, very
So
close
again, very
proximity,
close,
yeah. And he did a lot of work with clay, but here's all that aside. Okay, his father was a cousin to Geronimo, the famous Native American. We have that Geronimo statue in the Garris Gallery.
Mhm.
Geronimo, who was one of the last Chiricahua Apache to turn himself in, which he did. And so then he was taken prisoner and was held at Fort Sill until he died.
Mhm.
But there were about 1,200 of his followers who were also imprisoned and sent by train, which this is terrible, mostly in cattle cars, to Florida and Alabama and Oklahoma. He turned himself in Mexico, Chihuahua, Mexico is where he was when he turned himself in. So they put these people on these in cattle cars
Mm.
and put
Put them
them
in prisons.
put them in
Mhm.
prisons. So Sam, let me see if I can, I'm going to not say the name correctly. Allen Hauser's father's name was San Haozas, which is in the Apache language, describes the sound and the sensation of pulling a plant from the earth and the point at which the earth gives way. I wish I knew the Apache language, and so I could understand what all that
Yeah.
means.
Right.
Because it makes me feel like I'm not saying it correctly at all. But so he was taken to, Sam was taken to St. Augustine, Florida. And
That's where he was in prison.
that's where he was in prison. Allen Hauser's mother was named Blossom, which I just think is so sweet. Her father served as a U.S. Army scout and interpreter, and he was basically the one who betrayed Geronimo.
Mhm.
Mm.
Anyway, she was born in a prison camp in Alabama, and her mother and other surviving members of the tribe had been sent there in 1887. So Sam and Blossom were among 250 Chiricahua Apaches who were later sent to Fort Sill, where Geronimo was held, and they remained prisoners there for 20 years. They were finally granted their freedom in 1913. And Sam and Blossom were among 14 families who chose to stay close to Fort Sill. Apache is about, I'm going to say 15 miles from Fort Sill, maybe at the most.
Mhm.
It's very close to
Right.
Fort Sill.
Right.
And Allen was born, the first child of his family that was born out of captivity
In 1914.
in 1914.
Mhm.
What an amazing heritage he has, first of all. I just love
Right.
that so much. Anyway, so he was, he liked to be outdoors. He was a Golden Gloves boxing champion. And in 1934, so he was 20 years old,
Mhm.
he was in Anadarko, which is about 15 miles north of Apache, roughly.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. He was, there was a notice at the Indian office that was inviting people to join a painting school in Santa Fe that was established by Dorothy Dunn. And much to his
Yeah,
father's,
his father really wasn't
yeah,
on board with that idea.
not at all. But Allen decided to apply, and he was accepted, and he went there. Once he got there, he realized he did not like the way she taught. Very, let's see, he said her teachings were restrictive and unimaginative. And if you want, I mean, I'm going to give this opinion for free. But there was, there was a general idea that Native Americans needed to be civilized.
Mhm.
And that means that they had to fit inside these boxes that,
They tried to be
right,
fitting too.
yeah. And I have a feeling artistically that was the squeeze that
way.
was being put on
Right.
him. Because honestly, his art is very modernistic. It
Especially
is,
for the time period that he
Yes.
lived during.
yes, it's very different. So anyway, also while he was at that school, it was suggested that he change his last name to Hauser from his Native American last name, his Apache last name. And so he did. But then he flourished and started with watercolors and painted like,
19 of them in his first solo exhibition.
yeah, I mean, and he had pieces at the Art Institute of Chicago where I've been there, and they have every, the one with the farmers, the Whistler,
Mhm.
that
With
is,
the porch,
yes,
with the pitchfork.
yes,
Mhm.
that is at there. I saw that painting there. So it's a big deal. It is a really big deal. And he was at the Golden Gate International Exposition, New York World's Fair. He received a commission to paint full-size murals for the Department of Interior in Washington, D.C.
Your headquarters.
Yeah, and then he came back here, went to Fort Sill, studied under a Swedish muralist named Nordmark.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say the first name, Nordmark, and he encouraged Hauser to take up sculpting. And in 1939, he married. And then 1939, Great Depression,
Mhm.
tough times.
Yeah.
He ended up moving to California, and he worked as a pipe fitter out there for a while. But when he would come home at night, he would keep doing
Yeah.
art. And he became friends with some people at the Pasadena Art Center and was exposed to several other big name sculptors. And that laid the foundation for his modernist style.
Approach on those.
Yeah. So anyway, he made marble statues. I wonder if that's a marble one.
I don't know.
It's
white.
possible. Uh-huh. That may be a marble statue, which is the actual carving type.
Yeah.
It's not the same as casting one in bronze.
No, it's
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, what a
It
talent.
could be.
What a talent. So, anyway, he really didn't start sculpting until kind of like the second half of his life.
Mhm. Right.
But he was worked at the Institute for American Indian Arts. And then in 1975, he retired. He was also a talented musician and played several instruments, which goes right along with so many of the artists that we've talked to over the, couple of years.
Right.
Just people seem to have like one talent feeds another talent
Right.
and another
They're
talent.
multifaceted in their different.
Ways of
Artistic
expressing.
expression.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, he became the most prolific following his retirement. And that's when he had dedicated artworks to the United Nations, the National Portrait Gallery, and the Smithsonian Institution. Another reason to go back to that portrait gallery in DC. In 92, became the first Native American awarded the National Medal of Arts. And then in 94, he passed away. But like all great artists, he continued to challenge himself. I was going to show this piece. This was called the Sacred Rain Arrow. And you can see there's like a lot of detail, a lot of very, like the whole body of the person. He also did, we have a couple of books, like young adult books,
Right.
that he did like sketches for the illustrations in that book. And then we have other books here that that are out right now. He's one of our history heroes that display a lot of his works. But the piece de resistance, the Alan Hauser that lives in the Garris
lives.
Gallery here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center. This is the style that I saw at that exhibition at OU,
Mhm.
where it's the only thing that's very detailed are their faces and the hair, and then the bodies are more like, they're covered in a
Right, they're kinda
robe
wrapped.
or something. And that's why I thought this Sacred Rain arrow was interesting, because he did very detailed, a lot of detail of the body. But this piece is very iconic, Alan Hauser. I think if people see something that has just the heads like that and then a body that's just a shape,
Mhm.
that they are going to recognize that as
As a
being
Hauser.
a Hauser. Yeah. But just so cool that we have that here. So anyway, one more time, you might show them this one on the
Mhm.
screen, Tina, just to show the,
I mean, even the
Real
rock
difference.
that, he's
Mhm.
on,
that's
that could have
true.
just been,
Uh-huh.
whatever, but there's still a lot of detail in that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so I love it that we see how he did challenge himself, and his perception of creating people changed
Mhm.
through the years. And I think that's really a cool thing. So Alan Hauser, another amazing artist. Okay, now we're going to jump to a man named Harold Holden, and Harold Holden is still living. He was born in Enid in 1940, and he goes by H.
H.
Yeah.
Just H.
Yeah, just H. But you can see he's working on something there that's life size. Yeah. And looks like a old cowhand or miner or something.
Yeah.
The way the guy's sitting there, got his coffee cup in his hand.
Yeah.
Or he could be someone on the trail even. But he was the first fine artist in his family. But his great-grandfather invented the machine that makes bottle caps,
They still use it today.
which I find very fascinating.
Crazy.
And then his grandfather invented the first portable drilling rig, as well as numerous drill bits that are still used in the industry. And then his dad was an avid horseman and kind of instilled that love of the West in H. He went to Oklahoma State University and then the Texas Academy of Art
In Houston.
and started as a commercial artist. And then began his fine art career, like working like that on the side. He was doing his commercial art during the day and his sculpting fine art
Really wanted.
at night. He served in the Navy, and then in 1973, so if he was born in 1940, then at the age of 33, he went out on, just like jumped out there and said, I'm going to be an artist,
Right.
as my profession. And he received all kinds of commissions, the National Cattlemen's Association. He was a member of Texas Cowboy Artists Association, National Western Artist Association. In 1987, he was chosen to sculpt a series of commemorative bronzes to depict the 165-year history of the Cherokee Strip, which he was from Enid, and that's up there at the northern part where the Cherokee Strip actually was. That same year, he completed his first of many monuments, Boomer, which I happen to have a picture of right here. So this is massive.
Again, probably.
Yeah, and detailed and just an amazing work. You can kind of get a perspective.
The buckle in the
Yeah,
bridle and things there.
I am just blown away. I mean, every little part of the mustache and everything. He has completed at least 19 monuments that are in Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas. He's been on the cover of magazines, in museum collections, like the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, Oklahoma State Capitol,
Buffalo Bill Museum.
The Elizabeth Dunnigan Gallery of Fine Art, Museum of Cherokee Strip, Oklahoma History Center, and we actually have, he did a very large statue of Will Rogers riding a horse, which is at the Will Rogers World Airport. And he, let's see, yeah, in Oklahoma City. And we actually have a maquette of that right here. That is a Harold Holden maquette of Will Rogers. Give that a little turn there, Mary, too. And
Which way? Can you?
just kind of slide that around so people can see it from the front. Yeah, there we go, like that. But again, you just see all the detail. He's really noted for his just the way he details a horse and gets so much, just it's so lifelike. The way the horses, their muscles are, and just so many things about that. And again, I mean, you see how she's turning it around. There's something to look at on all sides, which we learned that's a sculptor's desire, is that you give someone a 360-degree view of a piece of art. Just magnificent. And how cool that we actually have this maquette here. He also, you know, you guys remember the tragic plane crash that were the Oklahoma State basketball team. They had divided into two planes. It happened in January of, let's see, probably 1998, I think.
Probably close to that.
Would that be right? 99? Maybe 99. Anyway, and 10 people were killed. They were the media people, a couple of players,
Some kind of coaches.
maybe some of the assistant coaches. Anyway, Bill Tegans was the News 9 sports guy who went down in the crash. Tragedy, just so sad. But he has made created a memorial for that. They have I guess he did the bronzes for the memorial that's at Oklahoma State University. And it's called Remember the 10. So he actually did that as well. So what year?
2001.
Oh, 2001.
We were all wrong.
Okay.
21 years ago, remembering.
Okay, there we go, 2001. So it was 20 years last year
Yes.
that had happened. So anyway, Harold Holden, what a,
Or H.
H, better known as H. Anyway, truly an inspired artist, and wow, we are just thrilled that we can talk about him today. Okay, so we have one more artist we're going to introduce to you. His name's Leonard McMurray. He was born in 1913. Now, he was actually born in Texas, came to Oklahoma in 1955. So we claimed him. He lived out a good portion of his life here. Yeah. He was, Boson was born in 1912, Hauser 1914, McMurray 1913. This was a decade of great artists being born.
Something was in the water.
Something was in the water, yeah. He became one of Oklahoma's most prolific sculptors of the 20th century. I mean, I don't know what else you could say about that, you know. He studied abroad in 1940 and 41 and had his work receive honorable mention in the Prix de Rome competition. So that's a European competition. I mean, his work was, I guess, quality from early on. You know, he had quality work that could compete with people from around the world. He served in the Army, and in World War II, and he after he was married, he resumed studies in St. Louis under the sculptor Carl Mose, and then later moved to Syracuse. Well, anyway, he finally came to Oklahoma in 1955. He does mostly figures, which I think means like people are animals,
Right.
as opposed to a
Like a landscape.
yeah,
or
yeah.
things like that.
But he has had works in venues from Oklahoma City to New York City. And in 1952, his work was included in the National Sculpture Society in New York. His works include the 89er, which is at the Oklahoma City Civic Center, and also the Healing Hands at the City of Faith
Oh, Oral
at
Roberts.
Oral Roberts University.
Those are iconic.
They absolutely are. And yeah, so Leonard McMurray, this piece, I've seen this piece before. This is, you see the guy's got the stake,
Yeah.
putting the stake in the ground there. So this is a depiction of the land run. And just a really great example of historical and Oklahoma roots
Mhm.
kind of work. Let's see, for the 1982 Diamond Jubilee of Oklahoma statehood, he completed a series of 21 busts of Oklahoma's governors.
That took some time.
Yeah, which I think this
Is one
is
of
him
them.
working on one of them. That guy looks like one of the first
Yeah.
10
Yeah,
that we
talked
might
about.
have talked about.
Right, that's what I was thinking. He looked familiar when that came out.
Yeah, and he created 14 busts for the National Hall of Fame for American Indians in Anadarko, which is also a really big deal.
Mhm.
And he died in 2008. But he was known as Oklahoma's Michelangelo. How cool is that? I honestly had not heard of him. I just was kind of blown away by that. A quote of his says, "Each piece must have a soul, a living quality that's far more important than just physical representation. A piece has to have guts, the strength, power, and dignity that makes it a monument." Profound.
Yeah, there you go.
I love to hear someone describe what they create with so much gusto, I mean, he knows
hear
what
it.
he wants it to look
Mhm.
like when it's finished.
And how he wants it to be perceived.
Yeah, and guys, we actually have a Leonard McMurray. Did not know this. Now, this is not it is a sculpture, but it is a relief. And it's a low profile relief.
Mhm.
We learned that last week too about the high profile versus the low profile. But it is a relief of Charles Russell, who was a great Western artist. And if you are familiar with Western art, you know the name Charles Russell. And we actually have some Russells in the Garris Gallery as well. So listen, if this is your first time to hear about some of these artists or some of these works, wait no more. Come to the Heritage Center
Wait no
and
more.
see.
Your wait is over.
Right? See some of these pieces, because we are really fortunate to have works from some of these just amazingly gifted artists. And these men are all
Yeah.
from Oklahoma.
I know you walk into the Smithsonian and say one of their names and I know them there, but then here in little bitty Duncan, they're
Right.
known here as well.
I hadn't even thought of that. I could walk into the Smithsonian and say, I'd like to see a black bear bosun, and they could pull it up and show me exactly where it is in the building.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission now. I love that so much. So guys, I hope that you have learned a lot today about just a few of Oklahoma's very talented sculptors. And forgive me for all the times I stumbled over trying to say sculptor versus sculpture. That is a tricky one.
It's a tricky.
It's
yeah.
like legislator versus legislature, it's the whole thing.
Legislation.
Yes. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I hope you guys learned a lot. I thought this was super interesting, and I really liked the little Allen Hauser tie to Geronimo.
Oh, uh-huh.
I mean, I said little, it's pretty significant, honestly. I mean, what a great nugget of history right there. I didn't even Black Bear Bosun said when he was a kid and needed money, he would go door to door in Anadarko and sell his little paintings to
Oh, really?
people. Yeah, to earn a little,
Huh.
money.
Mhm.
I mean, these guys, can you imagine if you were one of the people who gave a little
Right,
kid,
and you
you
had an
know,
original,
yeah, 25 cents for a Black Bear Bosun original?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Well, anyway, thanks for joining us today. Before we get off of here, though, I want to tell you about an event we have coming up. Just a couple of months away,
I know.
Mary,
It
April the
seems-
9th.
Seems like it's,
The
right
year
there.
seems to be flying
know,
a little
I
bit.
know.
Yeah,
Let's put the brakes on just a little bit.
right. So mark your calendars. It's called Cowboys and Cobblers. Your mouth is watering already, isn't it? It's going to be Saturday, April the 9th from noon to 4. That's the ideal cobbler eating time of the day. I don't know if you knew that or
I
not.
didn't know
Yeah,
that, yeah.
yeah. Noon to 4. Cobbler tastes its best. It's at its prime.
Mine's midnight to
So,
midnight.
yeah. So it is a cobbler baking competition, like you might think. If you would like to register, if you've got a secret recipe or you just like cobbler and think you might like
That's
to
right.
enter one in a
Come knock our
competition.
socks off here.
Yes, for sure. You can email Bailey at On the Chisholm Trail or call 580-252-6692. Both of those pieces of information will be in the comments section. And you can register for the competition for free until April the 1st.
Hey, so
Yeah.
why not? Why wait? Do it
Yeah.
now.
After April the 1st, it'll be considered a late entry, but you can, like if you're a last minute person, it's only $20.
Oh,
And you have until the 6th to get registered
final
for that.
registrations will not be taken after the 6th.
Yes,
Right.
and there are 2 categories, the youth category, ages 10 to 17. So if you have a budding chef,
Mhm.
budding cobbler chef at your house, this might be a good little practice
That's
run.
right.
And then 18 and up would be the adult category.
Category.
So there, no charge to come visit the Heritage Center
All
that
right,
day.
so free admission.
Free admission. Tasting plates for the competition are $5 and you get 5 different tasting cups.
Okay.
So you can probably go around and choose
Pick
which
ones
5 you
wanna
want
taste.
and cast your vote for the People's Choice Cobbler, which
So
is
you
a
get a-
fun,
yeah.
that's a fun thing. So that means there are prizes if you're a possible competitor.
Mhm.
And there will be 3 other categories that will be decided by a judging panel. I don't have the details on what those categories are, but if you call and ask, you could probably get that information. And wait, that's not all. We
There's
are
more.
also going to have art on display. Our artists are going to bring their pieces, probably for sale. They'll
Mhm.
probably
Oh,
have some
sure.
things for sale. And we're also going to have live entertainment. I can't think of a better way to spend 4 hours on a Saturday.
There you go.
Yeah,
Sitting around eating cobbler.
sitting around eating cobbler, listen to music, check out
Uh-huh.
some art,
Yeah.
come in the theater, go to the Garris Gallery and see some of this fine
gonna say,
art
yeah.
that we have in here, these collector pieces,
Mhm.
collection pieces, collector's pieces. And join us.
Yeah.
It'll
Free
be a fun
admission
time.
and all.
Yeah. So, hey, tomorrow, Bonnie Talley and Mary Ann Hooten from
Gabriel's
Gabriel's
House.
House Foundation and Gabriel's House are going to be our guests on Trail Talk. And you guys are in for a really great episode to talk about one of Duncan's finest institutions.
I love
I
it.
would call it that. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a great program and you
It
don't
really
want to
is.
miss it. So we'll see you tomorrow. And until then, happy trails. Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll-
we're,
we'll disappear in a
we
minute.
still mean happy trails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.